There we go. We are live. Let me just put the music a little bit softer here in the background. It is Friday, getting ready for the weekend. And here we are doing some technical analysis here on the price of Bitcoin. What are the trading opportunities at the moment? We got the bounce, like we discussed yesterday. We got the bounce. Okay, nice little bounce over here. Okay. Yesterday we discussed this little scenario. Let me quickly draw it out here. Oh, I mean, come on. It does not get better than that. Look at that beautiful SFP from the 1-to-1 extension. Oh, where's my Koki? Beautiful SFP. I think, where were we trading? We were trading in this zone over here. And I said it would be nice to make that sweep the lows. We discussed the bearish, local bearish CVD. The probability was high to sweep the lows and get the bounce to the upside. Now we got the bounce and now we're getting this retracement. So now we need to discuss, well, what can happen over here? I'm here on the 1 hour time frame. So before we continue, okay, remember guys, this was that WXY, okay? You have a 3-wave in W, you have a triangle and an X, and that is potentially the end of this corrective structure, okay, which means that this low needs to hold. But I'm going to go through a couple of scenarios. So there's a chance that this 3-wave structure is complete and the bulls need to step in, create a higher low for continuation here to the upside to at least come and claim these highs over here. Okay, there is another scenario that I'm going to go through as prices ever so slightly gently dropping here to the downside, where we could get a sweep the lows again. Okay, there's another scenario where we could sweep the lows again and then get the bounce here to the upside. So in this live stream, I will go through the probable scenarios that I'm currently watching at the moment. And before I do, because I always like to refer to the higher time frames as well. So yeah, on the 8 hour time frame, okay, it would be great to at least tap a minimum target. If it wants to go higher, by all means. When I take a fib from the high to the low, most common, okay, and it's also rare, guys. It's also rare, okay, because this is a very shallow target, the 0.382. When you have a massive drop to the downside and you start correcting, the minimum target you want to tap is the 382 at $98,000. So maybe during the live stream, I will refer back to this level so you know exactly where I get this level from. If it wants to go higher, great, because there's not much resistance at this level. There's not a lot of resistance at that level from a price action perspective, but there's nice resistance here by the 50%. So if price wants to turn around and shoot up here, it could surpass the 382 and go to the 50% before we get the drop. Okay, for now, this is a corrective structure until proven otherwise. And there's a higher chance that this is a corrective structure, whether we reject at the 382, whether we reject the 50% or the 618, there's a higher chance that this structure that is currently forming is corrective and not impulsive until proven otherwise. Okay, now let's get back into the smaller time frames. Let's focus here on the 15-minute time frame. There's not a lot of scenarios to go through at the moment, so I'll try my best to explain it as best as I can. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. And I'm going to go through maybe one scenario, and then there's something I want to share, a nice little promotion I want to share with our new Mind Pillar community. Okay, so for now, we got the bounce, okay, at the 1-to-1 extension that I've just highlighted. So if this is an impulsive structure here to the upside, okay, you could have a completed corrective structure at this point. Could. Because we all know with corrective structures, they can morph into larger corrective structures. But let's just keep it simple for now. One of the scenarios, guys, and this is basically the scenarios I'm going to go through now. There's a massive, as you can see, there's a massive bearish case scenario as well, okay? When I switch on my summary of the scenarios, there's a red scenario. There's an orange scenario and there's a green scenario. And I'm going to go through these scenarios in a moment. Okay, step by step. The most bearish, let's start with the most bearish case scenario, is this scenario over here. It has to be said it's not pretty. These nested 1-2s is not pretty, but it's not invalidated. Okay, this level at $91,000, 666 has to be claimed to invalidate the scenario. So in the most bearish case scenario, you basically have built up nested 1-2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You did not claim that high. Unfortunately, yesterday I was hoping we're going to claim that high. We did not claim the high. So for now, we still have a lower high, which I can label as a wave 2. So basically, you want to see a drop, okay, with a high amount of volume. You want to see a drop, and you want to see this mess repeat over here. So basically, you get the drop, and you get that choppiness. You get the choppiness here at the downside. And then when it starts reversing, okay, there's some longing opportunities that I'm definitely going to take advantage of. And by the way, guys, these are one of my favorite structures to trade. This is most probably the structure that I have made the most money with this year so far, is nested 1-2s. They are my favorite structure to trade, because once you see that candle with a high amount of volume and you see the choppiness, that's where I get ready. That's where I get ready, because I know after an impulse, you have to at least get the correction. And it's with those corrections that so far, according to my data, I have made the most money with this year. It's my favorite structure. So I'm actually hoping we're going to get it, because I know exactly how to trade it. Okay, so this is the most bearish case scenario. We're building up nested 1-2s, okay? You're basically building up momentum. It's like a spring that's coiling, and it's just, at some point, it's just going to absolutely fall to the downside. And then you want to see a repeat, okay? And then the correction, and then you either get the continuation to the downside, depending on how this structure moves here. But I mean, it's still very far ahead. So if we do get the drop today, Friday, last day of volatility, Saturdays and Sundays are known for very rangy price action. So if the drop's going to happen, it needs to happen today. Okay. This is the most bearish case scenario. It is not the prettiest nested 1-2s. But do you guys remember, okay, if I zoom in and I take you back, okay, and I take you back to this little structure. This was also nested 1-2s. Okay, and we did not, was it this one? Let me just go here onto the 1 hour time frame, guys. I think yeah, here we go. I'm in the wrong structure over here. Sorry, apologies about that. This was nested 1-2s. Do you guys remember this? And it also didn't look pretty. But look at when I zoom in here. That's what I'm saying, guys. You need to give it the benefit of the doubt. You have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Not pretty. Okay, nested 1-2s over here, and you just had a fall to the downside, an absolute plummet to the downside. Okay, so that is definitely something that could still play out. Okay, so back onto the current price action. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already. Let me just find my spot. Where are we? So basically, that's, you know, the most bearish case scenario, which could definitely take this low. Okay. So we've already claimed the high, which is the minimum target for a retracement. Okay, you have a three-wave structure that did claim the high. So in the most bearish case scenario, this is building up nested 1-2s, and at some point it's going to say wham to the downside. And then that is where I will be looking for a longing opportunity. From a simplicity perspective, okay, you wait for price to get acceptance back above this low. So you can say, I don't care what's going to happen here. As soon as price starts trading back above, that is a sign of strength. You know where to put your stop loss. You know where to enter. So there's many ways in which you can trade this scenario. But if it does play out, I mean, this is not going to happen over the weekend. It's most probably going to spill into next week as well. I'll do a live stream and we can trade this together if this had to play out. Now you might be asking yourself the question, well, how do I short this? I want to take advantage, okay? I don't want to just long here. I want to short this move, okay? So then I have to go here onto the smaller time frame, the 15-minute time frame. Okay. Now, since this high has been made, okay, since this high was made, for the moment, I can count very ugly, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. 1, 2, 3 with a high amount of volume. So I want this low to be taken again. I want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to see a 5-wave structure. And it's the retracement that provides the shorting opportunity. But if I do not see this, I am not shorting here. Because there's a chance we're going to form now, and I'm going to go through the bullish case scenarios now. We form a higher low, and then we continue here to the upside. Okay, so this is how I plan to short this in a nutshell. My local short plan, that was basically my shorting plan that I shared with a legend, well, that I shared with a mind pillar. I need to now learn the new phrase, the mind pillar community this morning. But there's now already a couple of issues with this impulse. Okay, let's go on to the 5-minute time frame. There's a couple of issues. Since we made the high, okay, this looks like a triangle, guys. This looks like a little flaggy, bear flaggy, bull flaggy, whatever you want to call it. And a triangle is not allowed in a second wave. So it's already giving this scenario lower probability. Okay, you also have an extremely short first wave compared to a very long correction, also decreasing the probabilities. Okay, and then you have the drop. Then also, when I take a fib from number 2 to number 3, we have claimed the 0.618, which is an invalidation, by the way, for a fourth wave. So can you guys see is the probabilities are not looking good for this scenario. Okay. Which brings me to the next scenario that I want to discuss. Okay, so probabilities for this short and maybe for the nested 1-2s is not looking great. Okay, really not looking great at the moment, because you want to see a clear, a better 1-2. Okay, that's a very short one. You want to see a 3, a 4 that does not claim the 0.618, and a 5. Then the 3-wave structure looks very interesting for a shorting opportunity. Now, there's a lot of issues inside of the structure to count an impulse to the downside, because to get this, you need an impulse. You cannot do this with a 3-wave structure. Okay, but I am still keeping it in mind, because if it plays out, I know exactly how to trade it. Okay. The short is difficult for me at the moment because of this impulse that's for all the structure that is forming here. The short for me is very difficult to get into, but I know how to get into that long with high confidence. And if the scenario had to play out, then next week we can discuss it again. So now, before I get to the next scenario, okay, are you all listening? Let me go through some comments first. Looks like a cup and handle structure. On what time frame? Which time frame are you referring to? Cup and handle? The people that know me very well inside the stream, they will tell you that, a cup and handle, yeah, on the local time frame. This little cuppy and handle that's forming over here, a little bit of a ascending. Are you talking about this? There's your cup, there's your handle, and then that's your target, okay? And you're going to fall down. Yes. That could play out. That could play out. Definitely could play out, because this also coincides with another scenario that I want to discuss. If this had to play out, you have your little cuppy, you form your handle over here, you break down. Okay, that's your target, the measured move. Okay, that's your measured move. So there is a long that I am eyeing over here. There is a long that I'm eyeing over there. Anyways, we're going to get to that now. 5 waves down is invalidated as 4 hit the 0.618. Lubo, yay, you guys are getting too clever. Too clever. Everyone's learning Elliott wave theory to the T. Yes, exactly. Listening by a more. DeFi, welcome to the live stream, man. It looks more like a corrective move down. Yes, it does, Lubo. It looks very corrective down. So even if this cup and handle had to play out, okay, even if the cup and handle had to play out, I'm still very interested in a long, which I'll go through in a moment. Okay, so, but now, before we go through this scenario, there's something that I need to talk to very carefully, okay? You can get 30 days free access to our Mind Pillar community. Okay, if you don't know what our Mind Pillar community is, that is where myself, Alan, Dylan, and the coaches provide daily technical analysis before we do our live stream. So they get the alpha first. There's also trading scenarios that's offered in that group that is not highlighted during the YouTube live streams. There's also news. There's fundamental analysis. We have some great Elliott wave counters like Joan. I see him popping in the live stream now and again as well. Mr. Joan is an amazing Elliott wave counter, sharing his technical analysis as well. We have altcoin analysis. There's a lot going on inside the Mind Pillar community. Okay? And there's... yeah, myself and Andy are discussing some new things that we're going to provide inside of the community as well. So if you okay, now you need to listen carefully. If you want 30 days free access, you now need to listen carefully. Okay, you have to sign up with Valto or Bluffin. You have to sign up with one of the links below. If you're not signed up with the links below, you won't get the 30 days free access. Then you send a message to Telegram with the word Dewald. That's all you do. You send a message to Mind Pillar. There's the link. If you don't want to search for Mind Pillar on Telegram, you can just click on the link and you type the word Dewald, and then the team will reach out to you and they will give you the clear instructions in terms of what you need to do to get free access for 30 days to our fresh community. Okay, and we are doing some great things this year to make it an even better experience. So you need to sign up with one of the links below. If you're already signed up, great. Okay, and then message the word Dewald to Telegram, Mind Pillar, and then you will receive further instructions to get 30 days free access to our amazing community. Okay, so that is basically what I needed you to pay attention to. Also, guys, if you want to, if you're deciding and you haven't signed up, Valto has got the lowest trading fees at the moment, but you need to attach your wallet. Okay, you trade from your MetaMask, your Phantom, whatever wallet you have, it links to your wallet, so it means that you stay in control of your cash. Bluffin has got an unbelievable deal at the moment. For new people that sign up, you get 30 days VIP access for free, okay, which means you get unbelievable trading fees if you want to do some scalping. So here's the two exchanges. Message the word Dewald, okay? Message the word Dewald to Mind Pillar on Telegram, and then the team will give you instructions to get your 30 days free access. Right, now let's get to the second scenario, okay? Let's get to the second scenario, which is, which one? I'm going to discuss that one in a moment. Let's maybe discuss this one. Okay, so this is one of the scenarios that I'm keeping an eye on. Okay, so remember, guys, this is still the WXY. You have your ABC and a W, you have your triangle in a X, and you have your ABC in a Y wave. We tap the 1-to-1 extension, which is a Y wave target. Now, what could happen? Okay, you could form a flat, and that is also the target for this cup and handle. But you don't have to. It can be done. Because did you guys see where we got the swing failure today? If I switch on my naked point of controls, do you see that we got a successful SFP from a naked point of control if you have your levels marked out in your chart? So there's a chance that the low is in and B wave is completed. And we're going to go up for a C or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the only difference between a B, C and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is this. That's it. That's the difference. If we form a 5-wave structure, well, then there is still a longing opportunity after we form the 5-wave structure. Okay, because you get correction down, it provides an opportunity, and then we could potentially even move higher. If we do not do this, then short opportunities are on the table. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep it realistic and flat on the ground. Okay, I don't want to be that person that says, well, this is the zone, we are just going to rock and roll and not look back. Okay, I'm taking it step by step. But in this scenario, you could still form a B flat. If we form a B flat, it could open up the door, okay, to a larger corrective structure. Because after you form a Y wave, you could now form a A. That gives you a A. You form a 3-wave structure in a B. And then you can fall down in a C. So basically the range continues, the correction continues. And then you go back up. Okay, but the flat will give it away. If we take the low and bounce, okay, and the easiest way to trade this, guys, is that you wait for price to get acceptance back above this low. So if price falls, okay, and it trades back above the low, that's an interesting longing opportunity. And remember, guys, as per the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a crazy person here on YouTube sharing with you how I would trade these structures. Okay, that is the longing opportunity. You know where to put your stop loss, and you at least going to target the high over here, at least the high. It can move higher, but it's such an obvious profit taking area. Okay, because you can also form a small little B. B is over here, and then you fall down in a C. Okay, so you don't want to be caught with no profits in the bag. If B falls, if B is in, and we are going to find upwards momentum, there's a high chance that the structure can morph into a 5-wave structure. Okay, but if you create this, there's a higher chance you're not going to get that. And then this presents a shorting opportunity. I don't know how else to explain it best, because there's specific structures that I'm looking for that tells me whether the short carries higher or lower probability. But I think the market makers will give it away if the scenario would play out. This still leaves the door a little bit open and creates confusion. Okay, so there's a good chance that the cup and handle might not play out. But if it does, I will be ready, okay? Because this B wave has an invalidation. This B wave has an invalidation. Well, it's not a hard invalidation, but it's a high probable invalidation. Let me reverse this to the downside. There we go. Okay, so as long as B bounces in this zone, okay, it's valid. It should not tap the 1.618 or this naked point of control. I think if price is going to fall down here and it goes this deep, there's a higher chance to continue momentum to the downside. So if I had to trade this scenario, well, that is where I would put my invalidation, because I know if it's going to tap the 1.618, there's a higher chance it's going to just fall to the downside. Okay. Right, guys. So the easiest way, okay, because these are flat targets. Let me do this. Let me switch on only the flat targets. Okay, let's do this. Let me use my template, flat. Okay, that's my flat target template, which means all of these levels, okay, and I leave the 1.618 there because that is usually my invalidation when I trade flats. That's where I put my stop loss when I trade flats, okay? That is flat targets. So unfortunately, this B wave has many targets if it is going to be a flat. And if you're asking yourself, Dewald, what the hell is a flat tire? Okay, it basically means your B wave takes the low. from the zero, and it doesn't have to, because your minimum flat target is the 0.9, which basically means you sweep the low here. You don't take this low, okay, and you can play a swing failure from that level over there. So they do sometimes get a little bit tricky, but it's also one of my favorite structures to trade is B flats. I love to trade B flats because I want to be inside of the C wave. I don't care if it forms a 4 and a 5. I will close my position there. I do not care about a little bit more profit to the upside. If I see a 4 and a 5, well, okay, then I know where to short and I know where to look for long opportunities again. So the structure shows me what I need to do next from a trading perspective. Okay, but now, guys, there's the chance it could be done. It doesn't have to form a flat. Okay, doesn't have to form a flat. Your correction could be done over here. This could be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 that's going to form over here. So it does not have to come down and create a flat. I'm just saying that if it had to come down, I know how to trade it. Because it can form a flat. And I know where to put my invalidation. Okay. I'm still in my trade from yesterday. But I also know that this can morph. Ooh, what did I do now? I also know that this can move to or morph into a larger corrective structure. So the most bullish case scenario, okay, let's talk about the most bullish case scenario, is that the correction is done. We go up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get a correction, longing opportunity, and you continue. Okay, so basically you build your position here and up we go. It's the most bullish case scenario, which can then take us to that 98,000, even the 50% Fibonacci that I've shared with you on the higher time frame. Okay, boring case scenario is that we still form a B, and a C. So we basically still continue the range. Then the third scenario, okay, let me switch off these levels, is a leading diagonal. Leading diagonals never carry the highest probability. So just take that in the back of your mind. A leading diagonal, according to Elliott wave theory, always carries the lowest probability out of all the impulsive structures. Okay, so just a little bit of education. Your most common impulsive structure is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No overlap. No overlap. Your third wave taps the 1.618 and maybe the 2 extension, like I explained yesterday. Okay. Then your second most common impulse is multi 1-2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And at some point it falls to the downside and it repeats the same structure. So the nested 1-2s that I've highlighted over here, these nested 1-2s carry higher probability than the structure I'm sharing with you now. So I'm sharing with you now the lowest probable structure scenario. Okay, this scenario carries higher probability. Okay, so let's get back into the diagonal. Leading diagonal. So in a leading diagonal, we have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The most common corrective structure in a leading diagonal is a simple ABC. A, B, it should preferably not take the low, a simple zigzag, not a flat, simple zigzag. A, B, C. So you get the movement to the upside and then all hell breaks loose and we fall in a third wave. This becomes 1, that is your 2, and then you get 3. This is the lowest probable scenario, but it can play out. And this is why, guys, it's so important to take profits where you're supposed to take profits. Okay. So, in summary, and I mean, guys, this can also go and take the low of this entire structure. Easy, okay? Because, let me draw it out for everyone so it makes crystal clear. This becomes your 1, that's your 2. You go down for 3, you form a 4, and you go down for 5. So this has definitely the potential to come and claim the low at $84,000. Wait, the low at $83,000. It has the potential to get there. So there is two bearish structures here at the moment, guys. There is two bearish structures. We have a leading diagonal that doesn't carry the highest probability. And we have nested 1-2s that carries the highest probability or higher probability that is actually way more aggressive to the downside. So we have two bearish case scenarios over here. But I just want to trade the local structures. I'm a day trader. Okay, I want to trade the local structures. And I've already explained to you, well, you know, I'm already in a position. I'm still looking for the flat or the ABC. So in summary, let me share with you my summary. These are the scenarios that I'm looking at. Okay, just want to get it in there. These are the scenarios in the short-term time frame that I'm looking at. Okay, so we either move up from where we are, we form the flat that I've just explained with the invalidation at the 1.618, or we just fall. And this is why you have to have a stop loss in place, because you don't want to be underwater here if you have an entry here. You don't want to be underwater. I'd rather get stopped out and look for a new fresh trade here. Okay. Right, let's go through some comments. I saw a super chat come through here. Let me check. Who is the Blazing? Thanks for the super chat, man. Dewald, what is the right way to play SFP on the 15-minute time frame? Oh, the simplest way that I can explain to trade a swing failure pattern, because we had one over here as well. Let me go to the 1 hour. I just want to get that level back. Okay. Let's switch on the session volume profile. Wait for that to load up. There was a beautiful SFP, two actually. Okay. This one. Okay. Let me switch this back off. Okay. That was yesterday's one. So on the 15-minute time frame, and I will not go lower than the 15-minute time frame. My preferred time frame is the 1 hour. It's my most profitable time frame is the 1 hour. According to my trading data, it is my most profitable time frame. Okay, so was that even the right level? Because I know there was a level here somewhere, guys. There was a level here. Oh, it was here. It was this one. It was this one. Okay, inside of this zone. So price moved up here. Okay, my Koki. So we had a point of control over here. Okay. This price action did not play out yet. The easiest way, and I mean I can go into detail, and in my course, my trading course, I explain it in a lot more detail. But the easiest way is price dips into the level and it starts trading above. That is where you enter. You know where to put your stop loss. So it basically grabs the liquidity below and it starts trading above that level. That's a sign of strength. You enter, you know, you have to wait for price to start trading above. No trying to catch the low over here, because you're gonna bleed out your account, or you're gonna liquidate yourself. Okay, because I have seen some people, they catch that bottom. They catch it to perfection. And then they post a P&L and they want to show off, and they want to tell everyone, look at, I caught that bottom. And then my first question is always, where did you put your stop loss? How did you know where to put your stop loss? If you're, you know, do you have smelly fingers? That's the question we always ask. Do you have smelly fingers? Okay, because if you caught that bottom, where on earth did you put your stop loss? The reason you have to wait for price to dip below and get acceptance back above is so that you know where to put your stop loss. Now I know where to put that stop loss, and I'm seeing strength. You're trading above that level. That's where you enter, and then you calculate your profit taking areas. Okay, VWAP, you know, you can use your price action, these little consolidation areas on the smaller time frames, TP1, TP2. Okay, you get stopped out with some profits. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but here is another example. Okay, what happened today is price dipped below and it started trading above. You enter, you know where to put your stop loss. Okay, price rejected over here in that consolidation area. So, but there's still a good chance you're going to still find, okay, TP2 over here at least. Inside of this range, there must be a point of control, TP2. It's always worth it for me to switch on the VWAP. This is where I use VWAP. I don't use VWAP to trade with, but I use it as a profit-taking area. Okay, so if I jumped into this long, as soon as you claim the VWAP, always, if the VWAP is close enough, that is a profit-taking area. TP1, okay, and then you protect position and consolidation area TP2, high TP3, or depending on your trading plan, you leave some open, you leave a runner. Okay, you leave a runner for higher levels because it could run over here. So in a nutshell, that's basically how you trade a swing failure pattern. It goes into a lot more detail. It's not as, I know it sounds easy when I explain it like this, but when you actually trade them, and you can ask any Mind Pillar community member, they will tell you it is way more difficult to actually trade them than how I'm explaining it at the moment. And unfortunately, swing failure patterns takes practice. You have to do 1,000 of them. So the best advice I can give you is that you need to have your levels. This is why, guys, I have these levels on my chart. Do you guys see this mess? This is why I have these levels. It's swing failure levels. When I see what I've just explained to you at one of those levels, it's a trading opportunity. Okay, that's why these levels are so important for me as a technical trader, as a day trader, because I can trade them. Okay, look at that. Beautiful SFP, beautiful day trade, beautiful SFP. TP1 already tapped. You leave some of the position open. You protect position. Okay, if it moves higher, TP2. Okay, highs, maybe TP3. You leave a runner for higher levels. TP4. You TP yourself out of the position. But I can only tell you guys what I am doing. What you know, this is how I trade it. If you have a different trading strategy, different profit-taking areas, there's nothing wrong with that. You just follow your plan. And those are basically the scenarios in a nutshell. Remember, guys, for those of you that have joined a little bit late, just want to go through this one more time. If you want free access to our Mind Pillar community, you need to message the word Dewald. Okay, there's the spelling, so you can spell it correctly, Dewald, to Mind Pillar on Telegram. There's the link if you just wanted to go directly from your computer to Mind Pillar or from your phone. Okay, and then you will receive instructions, further instructions on how to get 30 days free access to the community. You have to have signed up with one of my links below. Okay. Right. And let's go through some more comments. Dewald, Mr. Jaroon, welcome to the stream, man. Dewald Trading, your outlook regarding BTC and spot bags for Q1, Q2, 26. Well, I'm just holding at the moment, okay? It's just, maybe I should do a higher time frame macro analysis, but I am still very bullish, guys. And when I say I'm very bullish, I'll almost probably always be bullish on Bitcoin because, you know, if you read the white papers, if you've been following Michael Saylor and, you know, all the crypto experts out there, I think there's a good chance for Bitcoin to go to $1 million. Not now, in the future. Okay, so from a spot bag perspective, I have different portfolios. I have a long-term portfolio where I just buy. Every month with full moon, I add to that portfolio. I've actually done a video about it, why it's best. If you are a monthly buyer of Bitcoin and every month you buy a little bit of Bitcoin with some savings, I've actually made a video on why it is the best time of the month to buy when it's full moon, because you're potentially buying at the lowest price in that month. Okay, and you want to optimize your wins to the upside. So I have a long-term portfolio, which I don't even know when I'm going to cash out, if ever. Maybe my children will inherit it, I don't know. And then I have a medium-term portfolio where I basically, you know, get in and out maybe once a year or twice a year, once every 2 or 3 years. And then I have my day trading portfolio and my spot bags, okay, where I basically just play the cycles to the upside. But I do think 2026, regardless of what happens here, okay, there's still a higher chance to claim this high again. There's a very high chance to claim this high again. So I'm still holding on. And there's a good chance that that's going to happen in 2026. Still 12 months, guys. Okay, you have an impulse, or you have an impulse, you form a correction, or now you form a correction. There's a high chance you're going to form a higher low and continue to the upside. Okay. What's up with Mindpillar? Did you move on to start your own community? Are you still part of Bitcoin Census? Mindpillar is a fresh community. It's the old community, but it's a fresh community. Okay, tap the like for the alpha. Thanks, Nico. Much appreciated. Legends, that is unfortunately all I have time for today. Have yourselves an amazing weekend. Trade safe. I do expect volatility for today. Tomorrow, take a break. We all know what happens on Saturdays. Okay, if you want to scalp $100 up and $100 down, by all means, knock your socks off. But if you want to take a break from the charts, Saturdays are the best days. Okay, have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers for now.